All right, people, welcome back. And as per the last analysis, right, we were looking for price to, move away from here, as in price was around here, right? And we said if they should, approach this area, right, we might look to take a trade. But, what we were expecting did not form. But then price was not able to break away from this high, right? And hence this high also. And that shows me that they are not yet ready to start moving higher. And they are likely to probably take out this low, this equal lows over here, right? So that is why I've set my alert for the break of structure over here. If this lows get taken out, then I'm looking to, form a bullish trade in this zone here, right? And but if price should, break from this high and probably this high, right? Then we will have to recalibrate and monitor, the last zone for price to, tap back into, and then we move away. So this is my expectation for price to actually take out this low, tap into this area, right, and start moving higher, and we move, all right? But if price should go higher, right, then we now recalibrate and watch this area for what the last zone where price is likely to come and tap before they continue higher, right? So that is my bias for GU. And yeah, remember our main target. This is our main target over here, and price is likely to, take out that target before they try to move even lower. That is just my analysis or my speculation, but price can do whatever it wants. The market does whatever it wants. So we just monitor and then reanalyze based on what is happening, right? So yeah, this break of structure could not, um, cause price to even move higher after they tapped into the 50% area, right? 50 to 61.80% area, right? Otherwise, as soon as they tapped, if they continue to take out the highs and continue to move, then we know that yes, this was a valid buy. But the way they are still in there is, indicative that they are going to consolidate for a while. And also bear in mind that the month is ending. So we might see something, right, of this sort before they move higher, but not like this wide range over here, no. But yeah, in short, take out this low before we move higher. That's my expectation. But if the opposite is supposed to happen, right, where they continue higher, then we just reassess. All right. So that is my bias for GU for this week. So in my last analysis, right, on the minutes time frame, we had price roaming around this area, right? And now, as you can see, this point was taken out as liquidity, right? Because remember that we had from here to here, right, a 50% mark, right? Price came, played around that side, still couldn't break higher. And then I said what? They were going to what? Push lower, right, into the zone over here. So yes, they did exactly that, right? So you can see tried, failed, still taking out the lows, right? Taking out liquidity on the sell side until what they did a final stop hunt. So that was where I, tried to get my entry. All right. So let me get rid of all of these and go to the 1 minute time frame because that is where I frame my entry. If you look at it, let me zoom out. Okay, and enter here. I try to look for trades from this. Could not get any, right? Could not get any. So I realized that what they were creating liquidity on the sell side, which they still failed to take out the high. And then we noticed what? The liquidity grab, all right? And they continued this game. I remember monitoring this guy because I set my alerts for this high to be taken out, right? And they wicked it ever so slightly, right? Still played around that side for a while, and they took out this. So from this time to this time, I kept monitoring I monitored up to this point, realizing that what they were about to take out the zone, right? But they didn't take it out, and we started pushing higher, right? Taking out this high, moving higher, good. We came back, tested, right, and pushed higher, right? We took out this high, this high, this high, right, and all of it. Price triggered my trade over here around this time, right? I set the pending order I want to sleep, all right? Woke up with, price moving around this. I thought they would, trigger my trade and move before FOMC, right? So started moving, yes, but then the way they still hadn't cleared out this high, they're not going to move. Then I'm going to get out before FOMC hits. So look at what happened and moving in the other direction. So that was how everything played out. Taking a look at what GU has done so far, right? And look at that. So they have taken out this last low, right? That currently we failed to break higher, right, repeatedly. And it makes sense that they want to push what lower, probably to, a more discount area, right, around here before they move away or they continue lower, whichever one. Anyways, but we move according to what we see, right? So if we should get rid of all of these analysis because now they are stale. They are stale analysis and we want to be current with what is going on, right? Why are you not going? Okay. All right. Getting rid of all of these. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Get rid of the remaining later. So all right. So currently, what do we see? What do we see? We are reanalyzing, right? So from the top down. So get rid of this, right? Because no longer moving higher, we are moving lower. And I think we want to pull back to, this area, right? Before we might probably see some up move again, but that's just my thought, right? We might see price drop into this area, move higher and come back even lower, go lower. However it is, we will move based on what we see, right? All right, so yesterday was FOMC, and well, we saw the effects of FOMC. But not to dwell on that, we move on. So on the 4-hour time frame, what do we see? This low, right? This 1-hour low has been taken out, right? Makes sense. Higher time frame is what? Pointing lower. So lower time frame structures will not hold anymore. So if we are to map out what is happening here, let me see if I can get a better picture on the 1-hour TF. Not better. It is not better on the 1-hour TF. So I'm going to go back to the 4-hour TF. That one is a little clearer for us to map out our structures. Remember, you get the structures right, and they are very important. You remember the last low over here, right? We had what price reacting from this low, right, multiple times before we eventually broke lower. So you need to get your structures in order. All right, so from this high, we have this low, right? It came to this high. We are now creating a new low here, right? Okay, so where was the last high? Our last high is here. This high over here, right? This is on a 4-hour time frame, right? But we have what? Some miniature movement on lower time frame. So if we should go to the 1-hour time frame, right? What do we see? What's the structure? What's the last break of structure? Right. We have this as what? Our last break of structure right here. Right. And then let me just label that. All right. So our last break of structure, and which, which point, right? Which up move before the down move sponsored this break of structure lower, right? We will categorically say it is this whole up move, right? So if price should return right in here, we might have some reaction. They might not go all the way up here. They might just tap into somewhere here before dropping lower. Bear in mind that if the higher time frames, if the lower time frames are in line with the higher time frames, we just move from the lower time frame structures, right? That's important to bear in mind. Well, that is according to my analysis, what I've seen so far, right? But it's not always the case. So don't take what I'm saying at face value. All right. So what do we see? We have some wow. Yeah, FOMC took out all of those who have their stop losses. All right, and then we dropped. So this high sponsored, let me just be marking that. All right, this high, right? Look at the pins to the top, right? Stop hunted, and remember this line over here, right? So this high sponsored the break of structure over here, right? And we can see that after they took it out, right, and it started retracing on low volume, started dropping. So it looks like we're going to push higher, right, a little higher. So let's see. I'm already seeing some imbalance. Here, right? And there's one here, right? And there's even some here. Okay, price can, react from any of these, right? But this is just a 15 minutes time frame. So where was the last stop hunt before the drop, right? I'll say this high, but they left behind some imbalance here. So it makes me very, very, very cautious, right? If price, moves through this imbalance and pushes, they'll want to fill this imbalance before they drop, right? I wouldn't even be monitoring this area, right? Because if price wants to go lower, there's no sense, right, in reaching to this high. If they reach past this high, all right, it means that what they want to push even higher and not lower. That is my analysis. So I'm looking at these areas here. All right, okay. So, which point am I marking as my recent supply zone? Recent supply zone. This was the last high that took out liquidity. And I'm gonna put this here, right? And then we are gonna change the color just because I have in mind the supply zones are different color from demand zones. Okay. So there's a reason I do it this way from the body to the wick. That's how I mark my zones. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put an alert over here. To say approaching points of interest. Well, approaching supply zone. That is it, right? Approaching the supply zone. All right, let's change it. Approaching SC. SZ. Right? Okay, so when they hit past that, then we will, this high is not going to hold. Yeah. Well, let's see. It might probably hold. So, okay. Currently, this is the analysis I have, right? If we push lower even further past here, then it means that what? This high held, right? This high held. Okay. So I'll be looking for price to actually reach into this high before we continue lower. All right, so now my bias has changed and we are bearish. We are selling because they took out what? The last low. And for them to do that, it means that what? They want to push lower to maybe a more discounted area and take out liquidity while they are at it. Yeah. So this is my analysis. Okay, so we can see that price has found its way back to the area that I marked, right? Even though I was hoping for them to reach into this area, which I think they might still reach, right? Because it's almost time for NFP, right? So it could be that as they're moving down right now, it's just an inducement to get sellers in. So they might end up taking out all these highs, right? And tapping into here before we now see what's a drop, that is if they want to sell. Or they just end up doing this and going higher. Or there's a third possibility. There is a third possibility where they just continue lower from here, right? This, I don't think is most likely to happen, but the market moves the way it wants to move. Okay. The reason why I'm looking for price to move a little bit higher to a more premium value before I, enter in on the sell, right, is because of, some of these, right, imbalances here that have not yet been filled, right? That is why I am looking at, price to actually move a little higher. But they can actually continue lower without even taking out any highs. And well, I'll be okay with that. Just that I'll miss out on the trade. So if we go to the 1 minute time frame, we can see that what, as they have tapped into the 50% area, right? They went back to retest, right? Consolidated for a bit, and they have now what, taken out this low. So the possible move is to what, respect these highs, right? But it's NFP. Anything can happen. So they might just take out all those highs before they continue lower. Or they can just continue lower anyways. So we will just wait and see what happens, right? Let's just wait and see what happens. Tapped in here. Wicked this low, right? Even though, yeah, because this low took out this high. I'd say that it took out this low and here. Pushed in here, started dropping, came back to test this zone, filling out this imbalance, right? Started doing this, dropped, right? And eventually broke through this low. Took out this low, straight lines. Can't seem to get them straight anyways. And came back, filled this imbalance, and now we are dropping again. So, yeah, we wait to see what happens. And as we can see, price just zoomed away. There was no liquidity grab, nothing. I was hoping that they'll take this guy before dropping, but they didn't do that.